turn like, I make a big loop, maybe like, I say good, like 700 miles the other way.
Oh, wow.
So I can get through another freeway.
Okay, we are live.
Okay. Okay. I'm just waiting to come on the screen. You'll be here after the parade.
Oh yeah, Trudy said he'll be here a little bit late after this.
Good evening, Bill.
Good evening, how are you?
Good evening, Thomas. Good evening, John. Good evening, Jonathan.
Good evening.
Go ahead and.
Sorry.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening, everyone.
We're going to go ahead and start this council study session Tuesday, February 28th, 2023 at 6:01. So old business, discussion of the resolution 2023-4, a resolution appointing the district court as a city municipal court, which is on page 33 to 39. We'll look that over.
No.
Any questions on that?
This is the one we had already talked about.
Yes.
The other one, okay.
So there's a little, on page 36, there is a little table that kind of gives you a review of year per year. The costs for court filings, combined filings, and new filings. For the municipal filings and municipal people. So if you have any questions on that, we can answer those for you.
So are we going to see more costs for this year then? The difference on that?
It may go up a little on the district court.
Because this one is for the 2020, and I was asking what's
Yeah,
it going
this-
to be for the 2023?
I think it's the same contract, it's
It's the
just,
same contract, it's the same, it's not changing.
yeah, but it's good till 2025 and it just
Oh.
has different judge on there.
Okay.
Because it's not on this one. It didn't say on here for court for 2020, but it didn't go up to 2025.
yeah.
But it's for 2025 on that.
Up to 2025.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So it's gonna be
Have any questions, Bert? No, I don't think so. Any more questions over here?
No, like that, you answered it, thank you.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and go on to 3 new business. Discussion of ordinance 2023-1181, an ordinance of the city of Napton reaffirming the city official newspaper from page 40 to 41. So I believe that is for the daily news. So that's where we put all our postings for legal things that have to go in.
Okay.
40 to 41.
And this has been going on for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, that gets renewed every year, if I'm correct.
Mhm.
And Vera probably knows a little bit more about that. Same thing, yeah.
Thank you.
We just do all of our ads and
Advertising.
advertising for public hearings and everything, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and go to B, discussion of resolution 2023-6, an employment agreement with Brian Course for city clerk / treasurer, which is on page 42.
So is there a contract already? or something that
We're getting that worked on, like the contract?
Yeah, so we had it, the attorney emailed it to us this afternoon, but I can get it during the break if you like.
Yeah, don't we have to see that?
You can,
Yeah, we can, and if you, we can have it for the next,
yeah, we'll have it here in just a
at
second.
7 o'clock. But if you want to fill us a little bit, you're more than welcome to, Bill, on that.
Let me get to page 42. I emailed a draft of a contract that I prepared. Let me see what was already in the record at 42.
It's just a resolution.
Oh, you just have the resolution there. Well, in any event, I emailed a draft contract to Maricela earlier. I made some changes, and one of the changes I made had to do with, I'm sure we'll talk about it more in executive session, but about probationary, whether it's considered a probationary contract or not, but you have it as a 6-month contract, but you don't specify if you intend it to be probationary, meaning whether the person hired could be terminated without cause during that period or not. But I think that's more for executive session.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bill.
Any more questions on that? We're going to go ahead and go to C, discussion of resolution 2023-7, updating the Banner Bank signer on page 43.
We did discussion already too.
Yeah, we did,
Oh.
but now we would be adding on Brian onto that. So it will still be myself, Maricela, and Councilwoman Diana, and then we will be adding on Brian. Okay.
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 Brian is gonna be the new helper.
Yes, he's the new city clerk / treasurer.
Oh.
So we'll introduce him in a little bit.
Okay.
So if anyone has any questions?
I don't.
Questions, ma'am?
No.
Okay. We're going to go ahead and go to D, discussion of resolution 2023-8, a resolution authorizing the mayor to contract for the installment of underground sprinklers, which is on 4452.
There's two different,
So these are the same ones. I think we're missing one, are we?
yeah.
Or is it on the back side? 'Cause I think
There's, I don't know. Well,
You
actually,
added the new ones, but you guys should still have the previous ones. They're still the same bids.
all three of them.
There's 3 on the last ones, and I think we got 2 new ones.
Oh, I see. Okay.
That's for the ordinance.
Thank you.
And I believe we did have one came out and he gave us a rebid. After me talking to him, it was the one that was a little bit over 100,000. And it was because he was contracting someone in to come in and do the grass for us. And I told him we were gonna go ahead and take care of that ourselves. Because that was gonna be like 20,000 or something
I'm
like
not
that.
kidding. It's way too much.
Yeah.
So that's where it says something about 3 of our employees.
Yeah, 4 of the,
That's all they're gonna,
Four.
that's all they're gonna be doing is grass.
they're gonna,
already doing-
yeah, they're gonna be helping him do the trenches. If he were to come out, if we were to go with them, they would be doing the trenches and, gluing the pipe.
All
the
4 of
piping.
them? will
All
be
4 of
with
them would be out there.
And how long is that gonna take?
He said about 3 weeks.
So they're gonna be off the regular schedule to do that with them for
So-
3 weeks?
Yeah, so we have 2 seasonal workers that we brought on last week, or was it last week? Yeah,
Mhm.
so we could have 2 seasonal out there and then the other ones out here. because there's a total of 5.
Yeah.
And so if he didn't need them all at the same time, I'm sure we could work around that. But he was doing that just to kind of save the city money.
Well, I understand that, but then they're gonna get too far behind on their regular everyday stuff. I feel it,
Yeah.
and that's just.
Yeah, so that's why we
I
brought
think-
on two seasonal.
Okay.
And, but that's going to be up to y'all to decide if you still like that price. If not, we can go to the other one that we
Yeah.
had discussed. Which would have been,
So which one is that?
That's, is that
that was
the,
the one that was like 16,000, right, Money, if I'm correct?
60
16
or 16?
for one side of the park.
Mhm.
And he only gave us an estimate of that side, I believe, to see if we were going to be happy with his work. Mhm. So here, if we go to page 52, there is, yes. And I don't know what his, am I correct, Marty, on page 52 on the amount of 16,000? Wasn't that one of them?
Yes, and I think that was just for one side.
One side of the park only?
let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah, and there we would not have to use our guys, you know, so.
Well, I'm not saying that it's bad, I'm just saying.
No, I get it. So, we'll leave that up to you, whichever you decide to go with on that. I know that we do, need to get it started as soon as, they start the park and ride, because then they'll be, cutting into
And do the landscape.
the landscape, and we'll be able to do the sprinkler system. And we'll have the guys out there that are out there doing the landscaping the same time for the park and ride.
Mhm.
Okay,
Okay.
so you can let me know which one you want, and then we can go from there. Okay. Now we'll move on to E. Discussion of resolution 2023-9, a resolution authorizing the mayor to contract for the demolition of the building located at 406 Washington Street, which is on page 53 through 55. So this are the three bids that came in. Let's see, it's on 54 and 55 and is there another one, Marty?
Oh,
There, we only have two.
yeah, it's on the.
On the second
paper I gave
packet?
you, Yeah.
A second opinion?
Yes.
Yeah. So if you go to 1, 2, the third page of the packet that she handed out,
Mhm.
there is a bid on there as well.
This is for remove the old building there, the one
Yeah.
next to church, right?
So if you flip the page, it's gonna be on the back side of that one. So, and I think the, one on 55 is actually pretty good. That came in.
59 is so expensive, yeah.
So we got 24, how about the other?
Now, Monty, is that the one that did the corner house? I wasn't out there for that one. I believe the sergeant went out for that one when they came out to give us the estimate on that.
No, I don't think that's the one.
So, I think page 55 would be,
How much is you say you got two estimates for remove the?
3. So it's on page, it's the third page in your packet,
Mhm.
on the back side, and then we have.
And one in the front and one in the back? No.
Go
one in the
right
back.
there.
Yeah, that one right here.
Yeah, so we have, page 54, we have 55, and then the third page on the back. So I, think 55 is reasonable. They've got, what they would be doing, they broke it down.
No, we have to test it.
Mhm. And on this 55.
So that's the cheapest one on page 55,
That's, yeah, that's the best price.
and they would be taking everything out of garbage.
Yes. So that would be, the asbestos, the demolition, demo building, the tipping fees, the labor, and the equipment.
Okay.
So that one is for 11,975? The
Yes.
total amount?
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
The 55?
11,975.
Yeah, it's the cheapest one, yeah.
So leave it up to you, whichever one you want, we can get that done. And I think they said as soon as we decide, they can start the following week if they haven't gotten anything, because we've been dealing with these for a while.
What do you agree, Vera?
Pardon me?
Do you agree on that one for now?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, that one's
Yeah, that's fine, yeah,
Okay.
that's
So we'll
expensive.
go ahead and
That's
go
for
with
the,
that.
yeah,
Page 55, Money,
page 55, for the next,
for the 11,975.
So when they, are we taking our air conditioning unit and everything off?
We'll take the, yeah, the guys are gonna take out what they can.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because that was pretty expensive.
yeah, yeah. So,
Okay.
okay?
for the $5,000 equipment, maybe in the air conditioning.
Mhm. Okay. So now we're going to go ahead and go on to F, discussion of dump day fees. So we've had a lot of residents calling the city already, and me and Marty had a meeting last week going over the calendar of when we had dump day last year. So we were already into April. So April
22nd.
22nd would be the day we have scheduled for that. And
It's gonna be in.
Saturday again.
Okay.
Yeah, and
What are the times for that one?
just so the sergeant asked if we could do it maybe a little bit later and an extra hour. So we decided to go from 9 to 1. So we'll be doing 9 to 1 because
I think
people,
that's better.
yeah,
Some people still working Saturdays to 12.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll go ahead and we'll do that. And we need to figure out a fee. I know it did go up a little bit, so we're maybe still staying with the $15 fee, but raising the additional to $6 or $7.
Oh, and then bring a second one.
Second, third load, anything after that would be additional. And I believe last year we
The
did
first one is gonna be $15.
15, the second one
And the
was
second one's
5
7.
last year, but I think, or 6 last year, so I think we're gonna go 7 this year.
They don't have one in Granger anymore, do they?
Not
they
for,
closed down
not
that
for the
one.
public.
No, they closed down that one, yeah.
Okay, that
So
sounds very
everybody had
true.
to go to Sheeny. Over there in
So-
Sheeny, it's like from Granger, Zilla,
Zillow.
it's like 7 or 6 miles north.
Yeah.
No Zilla.
So we can do,
Okay, why don't we do the $10 and then the $7? What do you think?
we actually,
Did we do 15
I
last
mean,
year?
15.
we did
and-
15, yeah. And we did lose still a little bit. We don't have that right dollar amount because we'll look into it.
We can't anticipate what it, I mean, you
Yeah.
can't guess.
And I think not as many people came out, but the officers are gonna start letting people know. That way, they know that, hey, it's coming up. We'll put it on the reader board, we'll put it on the water bill, and that way they know it's coming up.
You
And
need to
then,
put a big sign in front of the city hall, right there, a big one, so they can see
Yeah,
it.
even the
Because if
post
it's little,
office,
they
the
don't.
window, whatever,
so,
advertise.
I don't think we can put one in the post office because we're charging. You can't put anything in there if you're earning money, but
yeah.
we can do it right there.
Yeah.
At the city hall. Okay, so we're gonna go 15 then,
Mhm.
and then how much for the second load?
7.
7? Okay,
And even at that, we're still putting out money. The city
I don't
is,
think we're ever gonna.
yeah, so, okay. So, we're going to go ahead and go into executive session right now.
Hold on.
Well, hang on a minute, please. If we, I just wanted to draw your attention to the fact that we have the public hearing at 7 o'clock on the council agenda. And you have the materials for that at pages 10 through 31 of your packet. I didn't see it listed on the study session agenda, so I don't know if you wanted to talk about that, but to just as a heads up for 7 o'clock, and we have Mr. Jonathan Yates, who is a South Carolina attorney. He's not appearing in his capacity as attorney here. He's representing Diamond Cell Tower, and we have Thomas, I assume it's Wanuski, he can correct me if I'm wrong, who's with the ownership of the company. So I didn't know if you needed a heads up that that's on the agenda at 7 o'clock tonight, so.
So we do have it listed on the council meeting as a new business item, is it B? But we're gonna go ahead and add it to the study session as item G.
G?
Yes,
So we can talk about that right now?
yes, so we're gonna amend the agenda and add it to G.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and amend the agenda and add G. We're gonna go ahead and talk about the Diamond Tower,
And the ordinance.
the ordinance. So we'll go ahead and start that. Let me see. We're gonna go ahead and it'll be ordinance number 2023-1183. So we'll go ahead and start right now. Bill?
Okay, sure. It's an application for a conditional use permit, and the city planning commission had an open record hearing on January 19th on that, and they approved it, and therefore, but they approved it by a recommendation under our procedures. They make the recommendation, it then goes to the city council for a final decision and a closed record hearing. So there's no further public comment, oral or written. And then a final decision is issued on whether or not you're approving the conditional use permit, and also on the determination of non-significance as far as environmental impacts.
So Vera wants to know, how tall is that tower?
So the reason I want to know is.
It's 150 feet. If Mr. Yates prefers to answer questions, or his client, that's fine too. So.
I'll go ahead. Madam Mayor, members of council, Jonathan Yates. I will answer that question, but first and foremost, I have to thank Bill and Mari for all the help getting me to this point tonight. And I wanted to be with you in person, but I have to admit I was a little scared about the weather coming across the pass. So I'm a scaredy cat. I apologize for that. The tower is what we call the monopole style, and it's 150 feet tall. It's designed for AT&T. And most significantly, it's also going to have AT&T's FirstNet, the First Responder Network Authority, will be on this tower also. But we've also designed it for 2 additional broadband carriers. So 150 feet. And I'm here for any and all questions. But again, Bill, Mari, thank you for everything. You've got some great people there.
Any more questions for him?
No,
No, I don't.
the location they're gonna set this up. It's gonna be behind where they start digging.
Yes.
Never have had any accidents like falling or anything like that, have you?
No, ma'am, we over-designed these. This one was actually reviewed and designed by Washington State professional engineer Robert E. Beacom, and we designed it to the ANSI TIA 222H standard. And but he was designed in case of a very catastrophic 500-year event. If there's something happens, it'll be within 25 feet of the base. The best, and I wish I could be in front of you because I'd do a better job of it. The best way to think about a monopole is think of a straw. In a very, with a lot of pressure, a straw can bend up, it doesn't detach. That's the same way with the monopole. And we over-design them because the importance of this site is not just folks using AT&T for voice and broadband. The FirstNet, the First Responder Network, is very essential. We got to keep that tower up in catastrophic situations so everyone can communicate.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, thank you.
That's all right.
Any more questions?
Just if something didn't happen, the city wouldn't be held responsible. Company would.
Private property.
Okay, no, we wouldn't do private property. I believe that's all the questions. When are they going to start that again, I guess, and when will it be done?
Very quickly, it's typically about a 45 to 60 day construction period. And I can tell you AT&T wants it done tomorrow, but typical construction period, and also dependent on your winter weather, about 45, 60 days and it'll up, and AT&T places their equipment. So we're hoping to do it very, very quickly. When I was in town in Mapton for the planning commission, it was sort of pleasant. My AT&T phone wasn't working that great, so I got to ignore people, but we want to solve that problem. We want to solve that problem.
And I guess I have one more question. Will they, whoever is in charge of it, will they maintain the property? Or is it gonna be all cement around it? That's one of my concerns as well.
And that's a very good concern. No, what we're doing here is a little bit different. We're going to come in and not with the typical chain link fence with the fabric on it. We're going to put in a 6-foot wooden fence, and then we're going to landscape it on 3 of the sides. We're coming in with the Eastern red cedars, the American arborvitae, and the bearberry mulch. So we're going to make it look really, really daggum good. And yes, going forward, absolutely maintained at all times. Diamond has a history across the country for their keeping their sites up, and quite frankly, AT&T expects it out of Diamond, and it'll be good looking.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thanks.
I'd just like to add as well that a lot of work went into it from Byron Gums of WIBCOG, and he provided a staff report for the Planning Commission, and that addresses a lot of the concerns you'd have. The Planning Commission certainly asked a lot of questions of Mr. Gums and of Mr. Yates at the January 19th hearing, and before adopting the recommendations of the Planning Commission, and that does include a number of conditions, about the fencing and completing it, I believe, within a 6-month period, something like that. So.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
People out there? Yeah, okay. Any more questions for them? Okay. So, okay, we don't have any more questions, I think. They're doing a send-off, so that's what all the sirens are going on out there. Okay. Anything else? Okay, so is that everything?
Go on to executive session.
Second
Okay.
session.
So if you don't have any more to add, Bill or John or Jonathan or Thomas, then we can go ahead and go into executive session at this time. Okay?
Yeah, nothing further from me.
Nothing further from me unless mayor or council have additional questions. Where is needed.
Same here from Diamond. Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
We'll see you at 7. Thank you.
Start time.
Okay, so we're gonna go